Okay, and working with the Nelson CM2201 monitor, there are a few things you need to know before starting. First, it has to deal with the keypad. The keypad uses what they call a capacitive touch format. So it means not so much that you have to mash the buttons down, as that the system responds to the contact, your finger contact on the pad. So in doing so, we're going to do program. Notice I'm not really mashing down on it so much as just putting my finger on there. So that hitting program will scroll through the different setting menus, and it'll lead us to our second one, which is the password. So if you go try to change any part anywhere on here, we'll go to set points, and let's say we want to raise the set point, it'll immediately ask you for the password. The standard password on all modules, and we do not change it, the factory setting, and we have a reminder inside the door as well, is 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have the password in, we can go ahead and change any settings, scroll through, and I think that lasts for like a half hour before it locks it back out. So once you go ahead and enter the password, you only have to do it once. You don't have to do it every single time you're trying to change something. All right, we're gonna go ahead and enable the heater. So we're in the warehouse, we're gonna turn the set point temperature up. So when you're doing that, if you scroll a couple times and then keep your finger on it, it'll go faster than numbers like that. So now we're at 85. You'll see it takes a little while. Heater light comes on. All right, so now we have our heater on. And going back to the menu options here, first one is set points. In set points, you'll have maintain, low temp alarm, high temp alarm, low current, high current, the GFI, voltage, and that's it. So any of these values, we can, when we get to them, we can make the adjustment. Let's say we want the high temp alarm higher. Again, you have to hit a couple of times, and then you can hold on, and it'll increase by a lot. The key thing is to make sure you hit enter at the end of each one. So if we scroll through, let's say we wanted to change it back down to 190, let's just do 190. And we don't hit enter and we go on to the next menu option. When we come back, it'll still be at 200. All right. The next menu set is the heater setup. And here you want to make sure the heater is enabled. If you want to label your heater, which is helpful with BMS, if you're corresponding and you need to know exactly which heater this is related to, you can do that there. Our heater type options are self-regulated, constant wattage. So we want to make sure it's on self-regulated. External control is happening if you have it set up to a computer system somewhere, and you want to be able to turn the cable on and off from that, you will have to have the external control on. The deadband. So right now the set point is at 75. That means that cable is going to be on until it warms up the pipe to 75, and then it'll keep it on for 2 degrees longer. So it'll actually heat it up until 77, and when it reaches 77, it'll shut off again. That's to make sure that it doesn't fluctuate and go right back down once the cable is off. So that is the deadband. We set it at 2 degrees as our standard. Operation mode. So on here there's 2 different terminals for RTDs. So you can have it go on one RTD. You can have it set up as one as a standard and one as a backup. You can have 2 RTDs in different places. It'll take the average or do the lowest or the highest reading from it. So there's lots of different things you can do with multiple RTDs. RTD failure mode. So if the RTD should fail in the field for some reason, this setting has it that it'll automatically turn the cable on. It's to make sure that if you have a freeze protection and the RTD is not reading anything, that the cable will be on and making sure the pipe isn't freezing. So it's kind of a fail-safe if the if the wiring is cut or there's not a great, it's damaged some other way. This is just another safety feature to make sure that the RTD will stay on and that we won't have a freeze. All right, so we're into our next settings here now. So the system setup. Password is currently disabled because we entered it in. If you want to change the password from 1, 2, 3, 4, this is where you would do it. You can change from Fahrenheit and Celsius. Operational costs, if you know what your energy rates are, you can enter the rates in there and you can know exactly how much the system is costing you to run. I believe all these are fairly well known. Okay, so we'll turn the heater cable back off, or I'll set the set point temperature back down to 45. Again, that heater LED does take a little while to come on and off. There we go. Okay, if the system had the cable off, but we wanted to test to make sure the cable was working, we could go to heater test, and this will keep it on until we are done with our testing mode. The other option is, if we go down in the opposite direction, is we can have it on testing for a set amount of hours. The one warning I'll give on this is, if you're doing the heater test and you say, I want to test continuously, and you power the unit, you power the 2201 down, when you power it up, that's still going to be in effect. So it remembers that it was set to continuously, and it'll continue to use that test until you come back and disable. So next thing I will show is how to get it out of an alarm when something goes wrong. All right, so I powered off the unit. I unplugged the RTD to create a failure, an alarm. I just want to show what happens when you get an alarm and how to kind of clear it and have it back to normal. So your unit's powering on, it's going to be checking. Again, it does take a little while to respond to some things. So right now it's saying everything is clear. But as soon as it goes to read the temperature, we should have an alarm, and there we go. So as noted before, when the RTD fails, the heater comes on, and now we have an alarm mode. And to read the alarm, click on the alarm button, and you'll scroll through. So it says the 1 of 1 alarm, RTDA is not working. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to power the unit down. We'll plug it back in, and I'll show you how to clear that. All right, we're going ahead and plug the RTD back in. As you can see, it's working because the heater light is no longer on. And we have temperature readings. So to clear that alarm, we go back to alarms. It's still showing that alarm is reading, even though it's not there. And we hit reset. So I'll clear it. We'll search again for alarms. RTD is working, so no more alarms. And that is it.